Thank you, Matt. Did you know nearly 40 million viewers watched Sunday night's Grammy Awards here in the States and around the world, encountering all totaled some 2 billion people in 180 countries across the globe.
That's right. Joining us now is music expert and top New York City disc jockey for radio station WPLJ, Race Taylor. Race is here with a Grammy recap. Any surprises, Race?
Wow. Well, the biggest surprise, I think, was how well the Grammy organization dealt with the sudden and unexpected passing of Whitney Houston. How do you celebrate music and everything it's accomplished and done over the course of the last year, yet still mourn one of the biggest stars in the industry?
Yeah, quite a challenge.
She had sold more than 200 million albums. She had 6 Grammys herself, and they really found a very good balance, how to celebrate, yet how to honor her as well. As far as categories go, I think the Best New Artist category is where the biggest surprise was. A young man out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, who tours as Bon Iver was the surprise winner, an independent folk artist who beat out Nicki Minaj and country group the band Perry. That, I think, was the biggest surprise. But the Grammy organization had done that last year as well, when an upstart, to our knowledge, jazz musician named Esperanza Spalding
Right, I remember
won for
that.
Best New Artist. Exactly.
I know.
Now everybody knows who Esperanza is, and more people are getting to know the work of Bon Iver.
Now,
Did you get a chance to go?
We were there. We cover the Grammy rehearsals every year. This is the 10th year we've been there. So we get the chance to see beforehand the blocking, the stage. We take in this year the Bruce Springsteen rehearsal, the Glenn Campbell tribute, Katy Perry's performance with the pyrotechnics and the fireworks.
Well, let me ask you how this went down when you first heard the news of Whitney Houston's death.
Well, we were there for the rehearsals and are allowed in the Staples Center for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But once Saturday comes, all rehearsals are closed. So you did not really know, nor did the Grammy people know, how they were going to handle this delicate situation. And from what we understand, last-minute calls, the only person they had in mind to honor her was Jennifer Hudson. They knew how well she delivered dramatic songs for the movie roles that won her the Oscar.
And she delivered.
She sure did. It was heartfelt. It was sincere. She wasn't singing for the people, but she was singing to honor Whitney.
Yes, certainly, and coming out of her own tragedies in the past, I'm sure that tapped in there. But what's interesting is Adele won 6 awards, and I guess that tied Whitney, right?
Well, Whitney's came over the course of time.
Okay.
Adele won all in one night.
Which is
everything she
huge.
was nominated for, including record, album, and song of the year.
Beyonce's the only other female to do that.
Exactly.
Oh, Beyonce was, okay.
And this Grammys was the most watched since 1984, when Michael Jackson set the record, winning 8 for his work on the Thriller album. So it really was a huge night.
How do we explain Adele? Now, this comes on the heels of, I guess, maybe a year or two ago of Susan Boyle's big coming out.
Sure.
And the British seem to, I don't know, we have a love affair with folks coming out of the UK.
It is just pure talent. There's no gimmicks necessary. And the songwriting is also spectacular. You could see the number of producers on stage when she won the Album of the Year trophy. These people are at the top of their game, so they can take the genesis of a song and sonically create it and work through it and make it sound better than anything you've heard. And also, everything on that album deals with a universal theme, which is heartbreak. Whether she's getting over it, whether she's trying to deal with it herself, or whether she's finally ready to move on, and I'm going to go beyond you and be better than you with a song like Rolling in the Deep.
Sure.
It really struck a universal theme.
And speaking of the heart, coming again from the British side of the pond, Paul McCartney.
Oh, congratulations to Paul. He won a Grammy before the telecast for his work with the band Wings. Their Band on the Run album won in a historical category, but he was the Music Cares Person of the Year. He was honored before the Grammy ceremony for all that he does philanthropically and through a number of charities throughout the course of not only the past year, but his career as well.
Now, what is the status for the recognition of the International Award?
Well, there are a number of different categories, from choral to opera to international music to roots music and American bluegrass.
So much more than we even realize.
But believe it or not, for the first time in a long time, the number of Grammys have been reduced. There used to be 109 trophies in all. This year, only 78, and only 11 of them were given away during the telecast. The evolution of the show itself has changed over the course of the years. We used to see jazz ensembles and an orchestral piece, and now we see just the most popular awards given away, and everything else happens pre-telecast.
Which kind of does a disservice to a lot of musicians and a lot of categories that most folks don't ever get to see.
Right. However, The Grammys have done a great deal over the course of the past several years to try to compete with what people expect to see on television.
Right.
When the ratings would decline because the American public didn't understand or couldn't sit through a 4-minute aria, they had to do something or else their show was going to disappear. Remember, this award ceremony started in a tiny hotel ballroom and is now a global
ginormous,
event.
right? Because
Yes,
music
absolutely.
transcends everything. Thanks so much, Race,
My
for joining
pleasure.
us.
Thanks for having
Hopefully
me.
we'll have you back. And the legend of Jeremy Lin, the rising basketball wonder of the New York Knicks, continued last night as